Hundreds of thousands of cheaters have been banned, weapons have been leaked, and we've got some other funky stuff to cover in this video. Alright guys, welcome to the channel. So, firstly, come on Respawn, give us some details on Battle Pass on Season 1. Come on please, we need info we've gotten on. Give us some, it'll be beautiful. Anyway, let's get on to the meat of this video. So, what we've got here is we all know Apex has had a pretty big problem with hackers. I've covered this on the channel. Loads of people have covered it. They're pretty rampant right now. However, in the latest Respawn check-in, they've revealed steps they're going to take to combat this absolutely massive issue that could really damage the game. So we all know cheaters ruin the game if they're allowed to run rampant. And, well, let's take a look at the changes that Respawn are going to implement. They say, as of today, over 355,000 players, only on PC, mind you guys, because Xbox, PS4, they don't have problems with hackers. This is probably one of the only times where I'm like, I wish I was a console gamer, because you never really see hackers, you know. Anyway, 355,000 players on PC who have been cheating have been banned. Now, they say this is using the anti-cheat or easy anti-cheat program they use, which apparently works quite well, but the fight against cheaters and hackers is a ongoing war. You know, you win one battle and there'll be another battle, because the way this all works is hackers are constantly trying to develop new hacks that can't be detected. If they get information on the way Respawn are trying to ban hackers, then they can circumnavigate it. It's all very over my head, I've got to be honest. But the good news is the easy anti-cheat program seems to be working okay at the moment, and they've banned 355,000 players. However, Respawn do say they're going to adapt to be more vigilant to keep fighting the hackers and the cheaters and the exploiters and all of that stuff. They say they take cheating super seriously and care deeply about the health of Apex for all of the players across all of the platforms. So, these are the changes that they're working on to help better combat the cheaters. They can't go into much detail though, like I kind of touched on a little bit earlier on in the video, because, well, yeah, if they give too much details, the hackers then know how to get around it. But this is what they do say. They're reaching out and working directly with anti-cheat experts both within and outside of EA. Now, what that means is, obviously, other games within EA have had problems with hackers. So if they speak to the other development teams, speak to the specialist security teams that no doubt EA have got, they can get more information. It's a little bit weird, right? You think the game would have launched with this kind of already being a thing, but hey, like I said, it's an ongoing war. This isn't just one battle that you win, it's constant battles over and over again that basically won't end. And the thing about hackers is, if your game, this is going to sound really weird, but if your game has got a really strong hacking community, it probably means the game's really popular. So actually, it's kind of a good and a bad thing. Obviously, it's a really bad thing because they ruin the game, but it's like a weird way of looking at the success of a game. It's super funky. Anyway, they're also going to increase the size of the anti-cheat team at Respawn, so they've got the resources to tackle the hackers. Now, this is good. Obviously, throwing more money at the problem, throwing more people at the problem, means they've got, well, more soldiers in the war against hackers. So this is good. But the big thing here is they say they're going to add a report feature to PC so players can report cheaters directly from inside the game. This is huge, and this is a really weird thing because it should have just been there at launch. You've got a free-to-play Battle Royale game that you know is good. Yeah, you should probably have a report feature in the game. And what they did have is a report feature outside of the game that literally nobody ever used. I've seen hackers, and I've never gone and used the out-of-game report thing. I just move on to the next game. So most people will do the same thing. However, if it's in the game, you've probably got more of a chance of reporting them. And if it's anything like the Overwatch system, where you can report people for all kinds of different stuff, then yeah, it probably would be a good addition to the game. Now, there's another form of hacking. Well, not really hacking. Well, I guess this is hacking, but it's a form of abuse of the game, which does lead to hacking. And this is spammers during character select. They are a major problem. So what this essentially is bots that spam links to cheat websites instructing players to go and buy the cheats. Now, the thing here is they can't give us details on how they're going to combat this for reasons, well, we have already discussed, but they are working on it. The thing is, I think this is a massive issue, especially in Asia. I've not seen this for all the games I've played in Apex. Maybe you guys have. Any of you guys like on the European or the NA server, have you ever seen people trying to sell hacks in the lobby? I haven't. But in Asia, this is a massive issue. So what happens is bots join the lobby, they spam links out saying like, buy the hack, go to this website, win Apex, easy Apex hacks, whatever, you know, something along those lines. We've probably all seen things like this in games like World of Warcraft. RuneScape was one for, you know, all these other games where you get gold sellers and spammers and stuff like that. Anyway, so they spam links in, but then what happens is when the match is about to start, they leave. So that person who might genuinely want to play is in, or maybe two people genuinely want to play, and they've got a bot in their lobby. The bot spams them with links, then just disconnects before the game starts, so then you're just left with two people, which obviously puts you at a major disadvantage because, well, you want a three-man squad, right? If you don't have three players, then you're at a major disadvantage. So it's really annoying, but what they're saying about this is they are looking at it, and they are probably going to fix it, but they can't just give any information on how they're going to do it because they worry about hackers trying to get around that. But yeah, not a great thing, but it's good that they're trying to fix it. So what about crashes? This is the other thing. Now, crashes have been mega annoying for a lot of players. Now, I have been super lucky. It's probably down to the hardware I use on my PC. I have never once crashed the desktop or anything with this game. It's been totally fine for me. However, loads of people have been crashing. If you've got an NVIDIA card, an AMD card, it's crashing. I think it's fairly stable on consoles, but on PC, it's a whole different ballgame. The reason why it gets so unstable on PC is everybody's got a different computer setup. Consoles, it's really easy because, well, every PS4 is a PS4 unless you've got a PS4 Pro, but I guess it's the same thing. Same goes for Xbox, right? Every Xbox is an Xbox unless you've got the fancy Xbox, but it's still an Xbox. Still the same hardware configuration. It's very similar to your mobile phones. Why don't your mobiles like crash all the time? Well, I guess maybe Android does sometimes, and iOS does sometimes, but they're more solid platforms because all of the hardware is uniform across the platform. Anyway, enough of that boringness. So what they are saying is AMD will go to Respawn next week to work on crashes relating to their video cards. And this is exactly what they did with NVIDIA to solve some of the driver-related crashes. RTX cards had problems with crashes that should be fixed with a new driver update, which is out now. Stability is a major issue, and like I said, luckily, I've not really been affected by it. I know people who have, though, don't get me wrong, and I know people that have really been dying to play with their friends, and they literally can't because they go into games and they drop straight away, or there's this horrific bug where you would just crash at the end of the game. Now, that is so bad. Like, imagine getting to the end. You're like one of two squads left, and then you crash because, of course, you can't reconnect, but we'll get on to reconnects in a second, and that's like, wow, that's like a major issue. Anyway, they do say fixing crashes and stability is an ongoing thing, but hopefully they can start to reduce the number of them. So again, this is kind of like the hackers, right? It's like an ongoing battle. There'll always be issues, there'll always be bugs. As new stuff gets added to the game, it creates more problems. So it's just like an endless cycle of trying to minimize the impact of it. So yeah, it's good that they're talking about it. By the way, these Respawn updates are really, really, really good as well. Okay, let's talk about Reconnect feature. This is something a lot of players want. And honestly, I completely get this because when you disconnect from the game, it is frigging annoying. You want to get back into the match, but you can't, right? Because you're just out of the game. Again, if you're playing with your friends, or even if you're not playing with your friends, if you're just in like solo, just dropping the game when you're having a good game is really frustrating. You want to reconnect back to the match. I'm going to use Overwatch again as an example. You can reconnect in Overwatch. You've got a window of opportunity to get back in the game. It's a different game though, and you know, different things happen. However, there is that system there. But let's take a look at this. So, Respawn say there will be no reconnect feature. Now, like I said, it's frustrating when you drop into a game due to a crash, or you drop out of a game, which is probably due to a crash, and then you can't reconnect, right? That's not great. The thing is, though, Respawn say it opens up loads of abuse options. So stuff like, for example, you could be in a firefight and then just disconnect. And then reconnect a little bit later suddenly and surprise the enemies from behind. You know, stupid stuff like that you'd be able to do. Or you could just drop out of games, you know, for whatever other reason. There's a lot of ways you could abuse this. Or you could, like, hide. You could, like, disconnect in a building, wait for 5 minutes, reconnect back, you know. But it depends on how long, you know, you could reconnect back for and all this stuff. But like I said, they just straight up said there isn't going to be a reconnect system. Now, I don't know whether that's a good thing to say. Because, right, they say that the fact that there's not going to be one is they believe they're better off spending the resources necessary to build such a system and implement it on making sure you don't disconnect in the first place. Now, that's good. What about esports, though, right? Apex does not have an esports scene right now. I know there's been some tournaments, there's been the Twitch Rivals, there's been a couple of other weekly tournaments that run, but nothing that is supported by Apex, nothing where we've got custom servers and all of that stuff. Imagine if the esports scene rolls out, we get custom lobbies, custom servers, but then you disconnect in the lobby, right? Because most people will have to play online to begin with. Most qualifiers for big competitions are done online. Then you get to the stage where you've got the offline LAN, unless it's something like, I don't know, Overwatch League or whatever. However, or like a CSGO major. But if you can't reconnect in that example, then you are screwed. So they do need a reconnect system. Like maybe they need some sort of pause system, then reconnect. I agree that it's not maybe the main priority right now, but for the esports scene, they absolutely need it. So I hope they look at that. Okay, so laggy games at the start of a match. So we've all been there. This is not great. They say they're going to fix this, but they also say this is not an easy fix, and this is something which is going to take a lot of effort. They say they're going to roll the sleeves up and really dig in and try and fix this. There will be more updates on this in the future. This isn't a case of just throwing money at it and getting more servers or getting faster servers. There's some underlying tech problem which they need to fix. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. All right, let's end the video with a couple of leaks. So what we've got is a leak by @AustinScriver on Twitter. This is a reference to a flamethrower, which, I mean, I've got to like that. There's also another leak from this guy about a turret, which could be funky. So we're probably going to see a flamethrower at some point and a remote turret. I think that's cool. Also, on the topic of leaks, there is apparently a leak which references NPCs. Now, NPC is a non-player character, so maybe we're going to see some sort of, I don't know, things put out into the world. Like maybe there's like, imagine if there were missions. This would be really funny. There's like an NPC and you have to like protect them. VIP. I don't know. I don't really know where I'm going with this, but we see a lot of this stuff coming out with Apex. Whether this is going to actually be in the game sooner or later or just never at all, or maybe if it's legacy code, we don't know. But this stuff we know has been added with the recent updates. So yeah, maybe we're going to see it at some point. So there we go, guys. This has been an update for Apex Legends. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, like the video below, leave a comment as well. That always helps. And subscribe and click the bell so you get alerted to when videos go live. And you can follow me on Twitter, which is @Stylosa. I'm also the same on Instagram. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Toodaloo.